Alright, just right off the bat, before we start this episode, some of you may notice a mechanical droning noise in the background. Well, I'll be honest with you. Here on location at the Heartless Broadcasting, it's December. It's almost Christmas. It's picturesque Idaho City, Idaho. That's the mountains, folks. And, well, it's a little cold. The sound you're hearing is my trusty heating unit. Now, I would turn it off to get some clean audio, but I don't plan on spending another week sick as a dog in bed. I've learned my lesson. I apologize, but it's not really that big a deal, so I'm going to just ask that we go ahead and live with the heating unit droning on in the background. Alright? Okay. Now, you're listening to the Heartless Podcast. This is a weird episode. I'm not even going to give it away. And now I'd like to kick it to my intern, Dylan. Dylan, would you do me the favor and conduct the orchestra? Alright, let's see if we can't get this cleared up, once and for all. There is a cryptid out there that has been and is still being misclassified and lumped in with clickbait cryptids, most notably the Rake. Now, I'm not going to bother to remind you that the Rake began as a creepypasta, which is pure fiction. The reason I'm not going to is that there happens to exist a cryptid which is best described as the Rake. This is not that cryptid. There are more than enough videos of this cryptid to classify it on its own. There are also Rake videos out there, plenty of them. However, there is a discernible difference, which we'll go into. One of the things that set these videos, the videos of this cryptid that is, apart from nearly everything else, is the sound. Now, when I noticed this and actively went back to listen to these videos, it was unmistakable. There are sounds that feature in these videos that seem to be exclusive to videos of this cryptid. Let us for a moment discuss videos of the Rake. If properly classified, the Rake is generally low to the ground, often on all fours, and makes little to no noise, moving quickly from point A to point B. Spindly white phantoms often going unnoticed by people in the same videos until later. That's a Rake. Feel free to watch a few top 10s for reference. You'll see what I mean now that it's been pointed out. What we're discussing are the screechers. You know the ones. The ones that stand in the dark and do nothing until someone gets too close or decides to shine them in the face with a flashlight. Suddenly they lunge, chasing people out of the area, or until enough room is put between themselves and the person holding the camera. In addition, people have seen these things. They've seen them enough that on some videos, they even mention them and what not to do to their companions. Things like,
"Shh, be quiet. If he can't hear us, it's not gonna find us.
If they don't hear us, they can't find us." Or, "They won't do anything if you stay far enough away." Bright lights seem to be the exception to these rules, though. The second you shine a bright light in their beady pink eyes, you're just asking for these things to aggro.
But THK, anybody can add spoopy sound effects to their videos.
I agree. Why then do these sounds seem to appear only in videos featuring a certain cryptid? Why do these sounds not appear in other cryptid videos? Believe me, I've checked. My answer? Because people aren't having to add these sounds. By all means, don't take my word for it. Go watch some list videos and really pay attention. I have no doubt that you're perceptive enough to see what I mean. It's okay. I'll wait. Go check it out and I'll see you back here when you're done. This podcast is brought to you by me. I have no sponsors or patrons, though I do have a Patreon page. Patreon.com/THK The Heartless Knight. Feel free to drop on by and check it out. Any funds gained through Patreon go toward improving the content on this channel. A big issue at this point is lack of a decent mic. That's about $80 that no matter how much I'd like to be able to work into my current budget, just isn't possible at this time. If you'd like to help out, check out my Patreon page and feel free to become my first patron. You'll get a big shout out in the next podcast as exclusive graphics by me, the Heartless Knight, featured links down in the description of the same podcast if that's your thing. So a big shout out in a podcast, some exclusive graphics by me, and some featured links in the description of the podcast. That's what goes to the first patron, the first person to hit my Patreon page and leave a few dollars and let me know they love me. All right. Well.
Hey, Mr. THK, there's a phone call for you. It's the outrage on line 1. Do you want me to put it through?
Oh, Jesus, these people. You'd think they'd get the hint. No, Dylan. Take their contact info and tell them to call back another time.
Okay, can do, Mr. THK.
Thanks, Dylan. That's Dylan, the intern, performing circles around Jimmy. There just really is no comparison. It's night and day around here, ever since Dylan came on board. Man, I sure am proud to say Dylan's my intern. Oh, good. You're back. Not entirely full of shit, am I? So, now that you've had a look for yourself, can we be comfortable saying this is a cryptid of its own? Now, I've called these things chuds from the very beginning, but I'd kind of like giving them their own name. I've settled on corrupted. Here's why. Oh no. No, you're coming with me down this goddamn rabbit hole, alright. Yeah, so just, it's completely random. Just one of you. Subscriber number 4, I don't know who you are, but I hope you've made peace with whatever gods you believe in, because it's you. You're coming with me. I think these things might have at one point been human beings. I don't think that they start out as these things. Stay with me a minute. Now, if you've watched any of the videos, you'll notice that their eyes glow in regular light. That's weird, right? That's not normal stuff. But I've heard of 2 instances in which human eyes have glowed in a very similar way. One is in another video. You know the one where the naked freak chases the car? Did you notice his eyes? Another is from an alleged party in Russia where society's who's who's were in attendance. At some point, the lights go out, and, according to members of the band playing at said event, a number of the attendees' eyes glowed in the dark. A partygoer interviewed after the event let slip something to do with stem cells. Are you fucking kidding me? Genetic research involving stem cells? Are the corrupted what happens when an experiment goes bad? Did they not know this was happening? I mean, is that why there was, 2 years ago there was a bunch of these corrupted videos, and now there's very rarely a newer video featuring this cryptid? Did whoever was responsible go out and clean up their mess? I don't know. It's barely a theory, and it's all conjecture. I have nothing to back that. Unlike the amount of video study and video evidence I can cite for the corrupted, I have nothing except the glowing eye phenomenon to link these 2 ideas. So, it's hard to tell. It could be true. People like to go with the old, oh, it's a conspiracy. Well, maybe it is. Maybe these things are just weird-ass cryptids that have been out there for a long time, and we just didn't notice them until the absolute deluge of high-quality, easy-to-use digital cameras. Everybody's got a camera. There's a camera everywhere. Notice that's when you start seeing some of these monsters. I mean, there's better evidence to say that the corrupted exist, or even the Rake, than there is evidence that makes me say Bigfoot is real, or the Loch Ness Monster. And millions of people believe in both of those cryptids. They just already do. So, let's do ourselves a favor and make sure these cryptids are correctly categorized and stop throwing these chud in with the Rake, which, again, if you watch, there are obviously two different types of videos. Two different monsters. They behave differently. The sightings go off differently. It's just these chud or corrupted are their own thing. And the Rake is its own thing. The creature best described as the Rake is its own thing. Whatever it is. It doesn't look like it's standing at the foot of very many beds, but it is super fast and super stealthy. It doesn't make much sound. Most people don't even notice it went through the background. And well, there it is. Alright, so have you heard enough? I mean, do you believe that maybe these cryptids are not the same as the other cryptids? Maybe we should stop lumping them all in together. I'm willing to admit that a cryptid that's best described as the Rake seems to exist. There seems to be video evidence. But these cryptids, they're a little bit different. Now, so that we're clear, I'll play you one of the sounds that's normally associated with these videos and not with other videos.
Shoot! Just get out of the house! Oh my God!
Do you see the difference? Can you tell where I'm coming from? Well, anyways, I have no idea how to segue this odd episode of the Heartless Podcast, but that's what you're listening to, the Heartless Podcast. I'm your host, THK, the Heartless Knight, and forever and always, have a nice day.